But let's dive into this Barcelona team because, again, the resurgence, the incredible attacking flair. I mean, Hansi Flick seems to always have this team flowing and direction that just seems to be what we call sexy football all the time. But is there a question mark in terms of just what you see in terms of the consistency? Is there anything that you see that has maybe given you a little bit of a worry at all?
Well, I think the high back line is what everyone's raving about, and of course you are vulnerable when you play a high back line. I will say this as a player, I never used to like playing a high back line because it leaves so much space between yourself and the goalkeeper, and if the goalkeeper's not tuned in, very quickly you can get punished. And actually, if you look at this performance against Elche, they were vulnerable. There were so many opportunities where I thought Elche were going to get more goals in this game, and they probably should have scored more goals in this game. But Barcelona's quality going forward will always eradicate any opportunities they receive on the defensive end of things. I think Hansi Flick's got his work cut out to make sure that they keep clean sheets and try to keep consistent clean sheets. It's obviously very difficult being the goalkeeper. I feel a bit sorry for Joan Garcia, but he's been very, very good for the side. He only had to make a couple of saves. And I think the poor finishing from Elche actually gave Barcelona the comfortable victory. But what Barcelona do going forward, it's inevitable that they're going to score goals. In this game alone, Jaydee, they had 30 shots in the game. It's absolutely insane. They create chance after chance after chance. And if anything, I can critique them by saying they didn't score enough goals in this game.
That's a fair critique all the way through. I'll tell you a potential another critique is they always seem to be responding to adversity. I do see them concede quite a lot of cheap goals, especially for a team of such a high standard and excellence. Is that a problem when you start thinking about the bigger teams that will be facing the latter part of the season?
Yes and no. Obviously, when it comes to the business end of the season, obviously the goals that you are conceding are cheap. They are high back lines. You're essentially handing opportunities. I mean, we forget what happened in the closing stages, the knockout stages of the Champions League against Inter. We've been talking about it all season long. Defensively, it was going to be vulnerable. But I think what they do offensively, I mean, that's where we're going to talk about it more often than not. You know, Barcelona, they have now got 6 players who have scored 10+ goals across all competitions this season. That is absolutely insane. Ferran Torres, Rafinha, Lamine, Lewandowski, Fermin and Rashford now all with 10 goals across multiple competitions this year, which is remarkable. And there's a number of top-class performers that we can pick out. Lamine Yamal's performance today was exceptional. I thought he looked like he had a bit of enjoyment in his feet. He was dancing around wanting possession of the ball, and he was playing a bit cocky, which I quite like. The celebration was interesting to me, but I do think he's an outstanding player and obviously started to show that confidence once again. I want the stats to consistently improve with him.
You show a lot of those players plaudits, and rightfully so, because they're excellent in terms of, especially in those attacking positions. But maybe we should give somebody else a little bit of flowers about Frenkie De Jong and what he's doing. Where does he sort of feature now in terms of the best midfielders in world football?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, Frenkie De Jong will never get highlighted for the work that he does do. This performance in particular against Elche was one of the best midfield performances I've seen this season, full stop. It was exceptional. I can break down the statistics for you a little bit more if you want. He obviously got himself an assist, which was a composed assist at that. 55 out of 60 accurate passes, which means obviously he's flying 92% accuracy. He is someone who picks up possession of the ball, not necessarily just looks for the easy pass, he also sometimes looks for the killer pass. And when Pedri's not in the team, he's the one who has the opportunity to look through and try to get the ball into the final third. I still want more from him. I still desire more from him. But I dived a little bit deeper because this was a masterclass of a performance from him. I wanted to see exactly where he was in, you know, Champions League, where he was in La Liga when it comes to his passing accuracy. 95% passing accuracy across both leagues when it comes to Champions League and when it comes to La Liga. Sometimes the players who do the dirty work, sometimes the players who do the simple passes, they don't get credited enough. But in this style, in this position, where Barcelona play their football under this manager, you need those players sometimes to do the dirty work and not necessarily want the highlights.
I want to create the question mark for you. Is he one of the best players in the world in his position? Because I love the flowers you're giving him. I love the statistics that you're identifying and the things that necessarily that aren't seen by every single football fan. But does he deserve to be on the graphic with your Pedris, your Declan Rices, your Vitinhas across world football as the best centre midfielders?
No doubt about it. I think he definitely deserves it, especially after that type of a performance. And of course, he wore the captain's armband against Elche, which was a big, obviously, honour for him. But I think sometimes we don't credit his defensive work. What he has done has been quite exceptional. Again, winning tackles, defensive duels, No one really talks about that, right? I can tell you.
You do.
Well, the reason why I'm sitting here is because I was a defender and I didn't get paid as much as my offensive players did, right?
Thanks.
Those offensive players who are playing wingers and strikers, or the ones who play in the number 10 role, they're playing golf right now. Whereas defensive players and the ones who do the dirty work... Still working, right? Because the paychecks don't necessarily come to those type of players.
That.
I don't think De Jong's going to have to worry about it. But 126 ball regains and 80 tackles across all competitions this season, obviously going into this game. It doesn't mean much to many people out there because the YouTube clips and obviously the Instagrams and little stories that you see, people want the clicks, right? They're looking for the showcase scenario, the YouTube clips and things like that. And on our network, we like to sometimes credit the players who do the dirty work. And I think Frenkie De Jong deserves a ton of credit. Pedri will always be a little bit better, in my opinion, up the ladder because he's just got that unique vision about him. And I think it's better than most players. Maybe Vitinha's the only one in European football in that midfield position that can maybe be credited alongside him. But I think that midfield, alongside Pedri, it's probably the best midfield in European football, in case you want to, debate me.
I don't want to debate you on this. I don't want to debate you. I do want to debate you on another situation, though, because I love the plaudits and the flowers that you're giving to Lamine Yamal. Rightfully so, I've already said on this set that he's the best player in world football by the magic, the individual brilliance that he has. But are you seeing, in terms of what I liked what you said earlier, was that you want to see consistency in terms of those numbers and expectations that's on his shoulders now. So do you think his numbers don't reflect what you see in terms of with your footballing eye?
I want to see more. Yeah, I want to see more. Obviously 23 goals and 91 La Liga appearances is exceptional. It's great. It's wonderful to see. But when you actually see the talent, I mean, if you look at the way he performed in that first 45 minutes, the confidence, the flair, dare I say it, at times he had, images of Lionel Messi, the way he moved with the ball, obviously representing that number, representing that jersey. It is a big statement.
It's a big statement.
Please remember that Messi, at this young age, didn't have the stats that Lamine Yamal had.
That's true.
Messi obviously went on to become an exceptional player, and statistically things grew for him. But I think Lamine Yamal is doing something quite incredible. And for players under the age of 19 across Europe's top 5 leagues, he is truly one of a kind. He is brilliant. But I still want a bit more. I want to see more goals, I want to see more assists, I want to see more cockiness, I want to see more confidence, similar to what we witnessed in the first 45 minutes. He had this, I don't want to say it, but this FU mentality. He really did. He wanted the ball, and he was telling all of his teammates, and I think that's why Ferran Torres fits perfectly in the starting 11 with Barcelona, because he links up with Lamine Yamal so well. And the FU mentality that I'm meaning is, give me the ball. Let me do it. He wants the ball. He wants to take players on, and he wants to create opportunities, and he wants to score goals. He is a game changer if you can get him to the best of his ability. But the statistics need to back him up a little bit more. 23 goals and 91 La Liga appearances needs to be better for him to be considered, in my opinion, in the same category of a Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. We're lucky to have those two players, don't get me wrong. But I do think that he has the potential of reaching Messi numbers. I think that because the quality he has in those boots and what he's won already tells me so.
I'm telling you now, it wouldn't be a scoreline performance if Ian didn't flirt with that line in terms of with the FU. I like that, by the way. That was really good. But I've got one more question for you before we look, because you spoke about Ferran Torres, who's, I think, has been exceptional this year. You just saw the statistics in terms of leading the league, in terms of Barcelona goal scorers. I mean, the resurgence has been good. The consistency has been good, which has always been a question mark in terms of his game. But here's a bigger question mark. Can he actually lead the line going forward and be Barcelona's definitive number 9?
I think he has to be, and I think that's the way Hansi Flick wants him to go. Obviously, scoring goals is going to be very important. I think he's been very, very good. You can see there the 15 goals across all competitions is truly exceptional. He did get 19 goals all of last season, so he's not far away from eclipsing that record. I don't think he's going to be a 40-goal-a-season player. I don't think he's even going to be a 30-goal-a-season kind of player. But what he does do is he makes the players around him better. And in this Barcelona side, if you look at Lamine Yamal, Rafinha unfortunately went off injured in this game. Fermin Lopez, I think Dani Olmo are better players because he's on the pitch. Lewandowski's a bit more selfish, and that's why his numbers are truly exceptional. I think Ferran Torres actually brings players around him into the game more. And let's not forget, he's a Spanish player, right? So Barcelona want to see success from the Spanish players, and I would love to see success for him at that football club as well. So I think that the reason why he's there and the reason why Hansi Flick wants him to play in that position instead of Lewandowski this season is because Rafinha, Lopez, Lamine Yamal, Dani Olmo, their statistics are all higher when Lewandowski's not on the pitch. And that's crazy for me to say, because I have a man crush on Lewandowski. I love that man. He's one of my favourite players all time. But Barca are a better team, I hate to say it, with Ferran Torres in it than Lewandowski this year.
Okay, so the question mark is you prefer Torres in that position because of the way that he can impact the rest of his
Yes.
teammates. So your front three, just give me your Barcelona front three right now because they have a wealth of options. What's your leading front three if everybody's fit?
Lamine Yamal has to be on the right-hand side. I would have Rafinha on the left-hand side. I would have Ferran Torres playing through the middle. And then, of course, if you look at what they've had in midfield, it's very few teams in European football, I think, can compete with that offensive danger that they have. And even if you have the Englishman coming off the bench, Rashford, and having an impact, it's not too bad, is it?